I'm Facebook friends with Danielle. Why don't you send me your address? Let me see this. Where's your phone? Wait a minute. I'm gonna add myself on here, okay?
Next wave, I closed down, but I didn't get breaks.
Oh, I will do that.
You got breaks. Oh, sure.
This guy's right down here.
Oye, y sin capa, nobody con capa. It's the city league now. Take the next job up.
He's still there.
Who is that? Playing against you.
8615 Twin Lake Boulevard. Yeah, I already did it. I already have it. I know a little bit, not too much. I got it. Aww.
Tony. Later.
You've been told?
Which one? Oh, yes, sir, I did. I'm business for the world. Yes, sir, doing good. Doing good. I'm looking sharp. I'm ready for
Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing? Okay, we're going to start the program. So if you give me 30 seconds, I promise this time it's for real.
There is one there.
Good. Thank you.
If they see you and they call you, you gotta go.
He's so sweet.
He's going to be hard to keep him in the chair.
Yeah, I know. Big guy. Right there. Oh my God.
He's a big guy.
We were just talking inside.
He's a big guy. It's Tony Sardino and him. He's so
Hi there, Frank.
We know each other.
Hey, Joe. Good morning.
I know, right?
Good morning. Is this a great morning to be in Ybor City? Yeah. Is it a great morning for local baseball? Yeah. Well, I would like to welcome you to opening day for the Tampa Baseball Museum at the Lopez House. I'm Chantal Haydia, President and CEO of the Ybor City Museum Society. Thank you for joining join us to celebrate our community's baseball heritage and the many, many people, many of you here today, and the events that shaped 135 years of baseball history in Tampa and Hillsborough County. It's a legacy that began right here in Ybor City, and it's unparalleled by all but just a very few baseball towns throughout the entire country. I remember another auspicious day, May 15th, 2013, when we were standing right here on that corner with about 60 members of the media, waiting for a house built more than 100 years ago to come rolling down the street. Now that house, whose arrival we eagerly anticipated, was not just any house. It was the childhood home of Al Lopez, Tampa's first major league player, manager, and Hall of Fame inductee. It was the house where Al, El Señor, lived for more than 50 years. And when his son, Al Jr., who has joined us today along with his family, lived until he graduated from high school. Now, Al's house will serve the community as a gathering place for baseball friends from near and far, a home for inspiration, education, and a living history that continues on. As we begin our program, I would like to acknowledge our government officials in attendance. Hillsborough County Commission Chair, Pat Kemp, Tampa Mayor Jane Castor, Commissioner Gwen Myers, Tampa City Council Chair Orlando Woods, Marcia Mejia, representing Congresswoman Kathy Castor, and Charlie Miranda. Hey, Charlie! Have I missed anyone I didn't know was here that should be recognized at this moment? Thank you. From the beginning, the dream of building the Tampa Baseball Museum has been supported by many persons and organizations who recognize its significance to our community. You will meet a few of them this morning. One, Patrick Venable, served as chair of the Ybor City Board of Trustees for 6 years. His leadership and dedication inspired and guided us as we embarked on a journey that would lead us to today's museum opening. Please help me in welcoming Patrick to the podium.
Good morning, how are we doing?
Great.
Wonderful.
I can't tell you how excited I am for y'all to see what we've been working on all this time, for you to come in and take a look at the history of baseball in Tampa. I was told to kind of speak about the cultural importance of this museum to Tampa, but I'm looking out of the crowd and I think everyone here kind of knows the importance of baseball in this community. And I'm just very excited for y'all to see it. For me, growing up here, I'm born and raised, and I knew the talent, the professional talent that came from the area. And I knew how important that was when I was a kid collecting baseball cards, and you look on the back and you'd see a guy who, hometown Tampa, Florida. What this project taught me, though, was that this goes back even further than that. And it goes back to the beginning when you had European immigrants coming here to work at cigar factories, and the different cigar factories would have their own baseball team. These were people that were coming from countries where baseball was either not being played or was not the major sport. Maybe it was soccer, but they had come to America, they were starting a new life in America, and they were playing baseball. There, you had individuals who were Italian, Spanish, German, Polish, that did not speak a common language but could get together and play baseball. So this sport is part of the DNA of this town, and I think it's just very important that we were able to build a monument to that and be able to show to the community how important it is. People are moving to Tampa on a record basis every day. People are coming to Tampa. They want to put their roots down here, and they want to know what makes Tampa special and what Tampa's history is, and this is a piece to that. So I'm very excited for people coming from far and wide to visit and see what Tampa means and what baseball means to us. So really excited for y'all to see everything. I forgot who I'm supposed to introduce next.
Who do you hand off to?
Okay, thank you very much.
sometimes you have to be very creative on the ball field. I would also like to thank our entire board who has been very supportive of this, both our current and past trustees, because without them, we couldn't have put this together. So here's what happened, and here's why we're here today. Once the Florida Department of Transportation moved the house and placed it on land provided by Hillsborough County, it was gifted to Ybor City Museum Society by the city of Tampa. Then the hard work of creating a new baseball museum began. Plans for the house's extensive rehabilitation were drawn by historic preservation architect Ken Garcia. Our former curator, Elizabeth McCoy, who is here, wait, Liz, helped translate her vision for the exhibits onto paper. Then curatorial consultants Delbra, Guglielmo, and Associates brought the museum to life with stories and artifacts that transcend time. And Creative Arts Unlimited, Chuck, please wave if you're here, built and installed exhibits so that today we can see them. The museum is ready to welcome visitors from near and far. There was one very special person who lit the spark and made the flames grow bright so we could give our community a baseball museum. Our current chair of the Board of Trustees, Stephanie Algliano, will tell you about her. Stephanie?
Thank you, Chantal. It's a privilege this morning to be able to share with you another part of history, and I'm going to tell you about the history of how this baseball museum was born. The concept of the Tampa Baseball Museum at Al Lopez House was born when Mary Castellano Alvarez spearheaded efforts to acquire Al Lopez's childhood home in Hillsborough County land on which it could be placed. Through her dedication, the house was moved to its current location and rehabilitated so it became a baseball museum. Mary's passion for Ybor City and baseball history made the light shine bright on this new museum as she tirelessly supported its development over the years. Now, the museum is ready to serve the community as a place for education, inspiration, and the celebration of Tampa's iconic baseball heritage. Following opening day on September 25th, 2021, museum visitors from near and far will experience and share a 135-year baseball legacy that is unique amongst other baseball cities and regions in the country. The Ybor City Museum Society expresses its sincere gratitude, Mary, to you for all that you have contributed in bringing the Tampa Baseball Museum at the Al Lopez House to fruition. And the only last thing I have to say is, well done.
Mary doesn't know it yet, but there's a little plaque that says exactly that we hung on the museum today. So please come and see it along with all the other. Now, Tampa has no greater sports fan than our mayor, Jane Castor. We hope that the Tampa baseball at the Al Lopez House will help create the community pride that she instills in us every single day, and the recognition that this baseball town deserves. As I previously mentioned, it was the city who gifted Al's house the museum's largest artifact to the Ybor City Museum Society so it could become a museum. Mayor, thank you so much for being here to help dedicate our museum.
All right, what an exciting day this is for such a baseball town. You know, I look out, I see all the hats. I will expect everyone to be wearing a Tampa Bay Rays hat before the day is over, but I see some other hats, and that's okay. You can just cheer us when we lift up the World Series trophy. And I see the Smokers, our first minor league team here from Tampa. I don't know if you were one of the originals. I don't know. I want to be a part of your family and to inherit those genes. As was stated, we have a 135-year history in baseball here in the city of Tampa, which coincidentally is the age of Charlie Miranda. Those players. But I just want to take a moment to thank the Ybor City Museum Society for all of their hard work. No one really understands what it takes to bring a museum like this to fruition. And I, for one, just want to point out and underscore the fact that everyone who had a hand in every piece of this seems to be a woman. So, baseball may be a men's game, but when you want to get things done, you bring the women in. So, thank you for creating this amazing museum, and I promise, as I know Commissioner Pat Kempwell and the other commissioners, Gwen Myers, and my friend Orlando Goods, Charlie Miranda, that we will do what we can to keep the Tampa Bay Rays in the Tampa Bay area.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm sure that you must be lighting candles or something for our team today. As I mentioned, the Hillsborough County Board of Commissioners unanimously voted in 2012 for long-term lease for the land on which this house sits. The price, a hefty $1. Thank you, Commissioner. Then the county provided critical funding to rehabilitate the house and build the exhibits. The Ybor City Museum Society is a recipient of 4 historic preservation grants that have made the museum viable. These grants also helped us raise funding by encouraging private donors, because every single donation was matched 100% by this grant, doubling their value. I would like to thank Chair of the Hillsborough County Commission, Pat Kemp, for helping us to commemorate today.
It's a great day to be out here. It's beautiful baseball weather, right? And I have a trivia question I didn't learn until it was included in my remarks this morning for y'all to answer. And it's not what Charlie Miranda's age is, but do you know how many players from Hillsborough County made it into Major League Baseball? Anyone? 19. Anyone else? 88. How many players from Hillsborough County made it into Major League Baseball? 89. All right, a lot of people know. Okay, 89 is the answer to that. We have one of the highest per capita number of Major League players of any place in the whole U.S. We're a baseball town. And as you all know, this is Al Lopez's historic home, built in 1905, moved from under the expressway down there, up here. That's what I thought at first. I thought I saw you look down there, but down up there, as a person who's been involved in preserving our history, and especially these historic homes and beautiful places. I live in Seminole Heights, and a couple houses that have been over 100 years old. This place speaks to me and speaks to us all about our baseball legacy and about our built environment and this beauty here. But I will tell you, when I went in here, you're going to have a chance to go in here when you walk through it. You're going to fall in love immediately with what they did with this space. And I understand that Chantel Hevia is very responsible for working years and years, and they've just done a design that will just, as I said, you're going to fall in love with this. This is just a wonderful place. The county, and that means all of you, provided $393,000 in contributions to make this happen, in grants, historic grants, to provide this place. And I'm just very excited. We're going to be bringing visitors, tourists, but this is our legacy, our history. We have all this enthusiasm and all of this baseball speaking from this place. So thank you all for everything you've done in Hillsborough County to make this possible. We're all going to enjoy this, and so are a lot of people from all over the world.
Thank you, Chair Camp. Is this a good time for us to ask for another grant so we can add some exhibits later on? Before I introduce our honorary host, I would like to recognize two avid baseball fans and coaches who provided a wealth of baseball knowledge and inspiration to the community as well as to us as we built the museum. Let's give a round of applause for Tony Saladino, who has been our mentor As we were building the museum, my phone was on speed dial to Coach Frank Vermeulen, who introduced us to members of the baseball community and guided us as we built the museum. If you've been watching the news this week, you've seen like 89 balls, a display inside, which I hope you'll see later. You've seen video of it and photos of it. It is his collection, Frank Vermeulen's collection of signed balls that he donated to the museum.
Whoa.
His family is here to support us, and we thank you so very much to the Vermeulen family. I know that Frank is looking down on us and sending us good vibes this morning.
Yes.
And now for our honorary host, who I know you've been waiting to be introduced. He is an enthusiastic man, that with a big enthusiastic, supported the Tampa Baseball Museum since day one. Born and raised in West Tampa, my hometown, he is nationally recognized as a legacy in Major League Baseball. As a player, a coach, and a manager, and he has just absolutely been our first go-to guy from the beginning. Now he's known as Sweet Lou, both for his swing as a major league hitter and facetiously to describe his demeanor as a player and manager. Is that true? But to me and to us, he's Sweet Lou as the very first donor of artifacts to the museum, and for graciously sharing his baseball stories, attending our events, and serving as honorary host of our Home Runs in History for 4 years. As you know, we were just waiting to give the podium to Lou Piniella.
Yeah, Chantel, thank you for your wonderful introduction. I'm honored to be the host for this wonderful event, and I want to welcome and thank all of you for coming. And it's only fitting that this is Al Lopez's house that the museum is being stored in, because he set the stage as a first major leaguer coming out of this town, Hall of Famer, and he made it possible for kids like myself to dream the dream to be a Major League Baseball player. So, Al, we thank you.
Absolutely.
And here's his son that we went to school together. You know, I just visited and looked at the museum this morning, and I was thrilled with all the wonderful tributes to all the great athletes from the city of Tampa that played Major League Baseball. 89 players. At one time, this area here was the most prolific area that supplied talent to the big leagues. And I'm not talking about marginal players, I'm talking about great players, and they're all in here. So we thank the city of Tampa and the Tampa Ybor City Sports Authority for doing this for us. We're honored, and I encourage all of you to come and visit as often as you can, because if you love baseball, and obviously you do for being here, you'll really enjoy going through here and looking at the history of this wonderful sport in this city. So please come as often as possible and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for coming.
Now, as I mentioned, the Lopez family is here today. Last week, Al Lopez Jr. and his 3 children were our first visitors to the museum. We were so honored that they were here. It was a privilege to experience the museum through their eyes. They had so many wonderful stories to tell. And they breathed life into these exhibits with their stories. So we wanted someone from the Lopez family to speak to you today. And so I'm going to introduce to you Al Lopez III. Woo!
Thank you, Chantel. First and foremost, how is Lou Piniella not in the Hall of Fame? Everybody's down to be listening to us here in Tampa.
That's right.
So my grandfather loved Tampa.
Yeah.
Loved it, and Tampa loved him. But every time, as soon as the season was over, he would come right back to Tampa. He didn't want to stay in New York or Chicago or anywhere. So the first time he came back, after playing his first year for the Brooklyn Dodgers, he had a car. Nobody had cars. He had a car. New York plates on it. So he drives back to Tampa, and he tells the story that he was at the Cuban Club at a dance. And he said, I'm a Major League Baseball player. I'm a single guy. He said, I was really putting it on with all the ladies. And somebody yells, Al, come here and look out the window. Well, his car was on the side of the road, and these kids were taking the tires, stealing the tires from his car. He yells down. He knew them. They were friends of his. And they put the tires back on the car.
Too much.
But anyway, like I said, my grandfather loved Tampa. He would be so proud of this. Thank you so much for coming. I hope everybody comes often to see this great museum. Thanks.
Now you see why we enjoyed having the Lopez family visit. And we hope can you come once a week so we can hear your stories? I think that would cover the first year, right? At least. As with baseball, we have a ceremonial first pitch. And so Lou is going to help us get that going. And the mayor and the chair are going to test their baseball skills.
Oh boy.
This will be
Catcher's
fun.
box.
I don't know.
All right, let's see.
Oh boy.
Where's it gonna? Okay.
And if you have a stress ball or your child got a stress
Don't
ball,
drop the
please
ball.
come to the steps and we'll give you one.
Don't hit anybody.
Anybody?
They're softballs.
Oh, they are.
Kids?
Yeah, they're not regular baseball.
Aw. Watch it.
Oh my goodness.
How cute. Aw.
Mayor, I got you.
Oh boy.
All right, who's throwing?
Pardon me, I got it. Hurry.
Here we go.
Play ball. There you go. Oh, you were the kid.
Nice, nice.
We have a few more
Move up a little
people
bit,
with
get out
balls
of
in
the
their hand. If you have a ball in your hand.
We got one already.
And now let's go enjoy baseball with the museum. Thank you again for being here.
He's got a good arm.
What a nice thing.
Look at that shit.
This is wonderful.
Good catch.
Great.